So I'm Tarun Patel, and I'm a founder of Misa Architects, and we are total 18 passionate people in a team, and we work on a various architecture, interior, and urban design kind of a project. And I'm also visiting faculty at CEPT University. There, I'm teaching their foundation studio on master planning and urban planning. And Misa has been formed in 2015. It's been 10 years, and in this field, it's for personally, I have designed my first project in 2004. So it's been 20 years, 21 years in this field. So almost 2 decades in this field. So we have worked across length and breadth of India, couple of projects in abroad also. And as a philosophy, we believe, simple philosophy, whatever good thing you build, you'll end up building you. So that's what we believe in. This is who we are. I'll answer through my experience because, I being brought up with the many stories which my mother used to tell me. So when I'm small kid, she used to tell me many mythological stories from, Hindu culture and other things. So that narrative always fascinates me. And when I visit any temple place, those carvings, those artifacts fascinates me. So that time I didn't know this is an art or something. It is just a visual story. When you look at the a sculpture where Ram is doing or in that formation, the immediate Ramayana will be there in your mind, the entire story. And I didn't know that I'll become an architect and then I'll incline towards art and other thing. But this is how it might have started. This is what I can recollect. And once before drawing measurement, I was always fascinated with such stories and sculptures, or maybe general observations, how light falls on the walls and it creates it gives a forms to the particular space. So that was our encounter towards the art, we can say, or maybe when you visit any monumental space or any museum or anything, sometimes it evokes something which you have not envisaged. That's where I think, it has made me connected towards art and architecture. Yeah. And again, before for us, art is not, I can say that it's a preliminary, that is a language which is being developed beyond we started writing and communicating with each other. Those cave paintings and other things, which were way beyond when we started talking about it, right? So that is what it is for us. Yeah. Absolutely not. It is not just a necessary. So I would say, art and architecture or interior or any design philosophy or fraternity is a deeper connection. So like any movie, music, or any museum space or any art piece or anything you visit, it evokes certain senses. There are in dance, if I can say, there are rasas like hasya ras, soumya ras, veera ras. Those rasas are there. In movie also, you see any thriller movie, it will be nail biting or gripping, or if you see horror movie, you will be horrified. Likewise, art and architecture also evoke certain senses in person. For example, I'll give you one of the great museum which everyone should visit, when you'll see a perfect blend of art and architecture, which is being designed by Daniel Lipskin. It's a Jewish museum in Germany. So when you visit that museum, you will feel pain, the way in which they have killed almost 1 lakh people, or gas chamber and something like that. So art, the way in which it is woven narrative into the museum, it is not just a building, it is beyond that. So that intangible dimension, it makes you feel their pain. It makes you feel the tragic moment which had happened in history. So there are different smileys he has kept on one place to another place, and when you need to cross that room from here to here, you are actually walking on those smileys, and that creates a sound. So art is not just one where you'll appreciate and evaluate through eyes, but it actually evokes senses into you. So it's not just an artifact or accessories; it is a storytelling. So architecture and interior may give you body or a functional aspect, but when we are talking about soul, then art is the one thing which add a soul to the space. So here we have two projects immediately which I can remind. First of all, it's not the afterthought. When we design any project, we always consider what this space will offer to you. And then when you design with something, some nuances, we also talked about how person will appreciate those spaces. So sometimes when we are using art, it can be quite contrasting. So for example, we have designed one ornate manufacturing unit, a factory building we have designed, and there's a floating office between two shades, and it is a steel structures. So when I'm talking about steel, it evokes the sense of brutality, strong, sharp, and those metaphorical dimension which will add on. Now I wanted to make something or install an art which contradict the surrounding, which gives you a calm and serene experience. So there we have tried Enso circles, a sculpture of Enso circle. So you might be knowing the Enso means it's a thing which has no end and no beginning. And we have layered it into a three-dimensional object from steel itself only. So material is same, context is same, but the way in which we have kept it, it creates a softened edges. Again, it's a three-dimension which change your mood. You'll immediately engage yourself with that sculpture. What is it all about? And it is actually installed in the entrance where nothing is happening. So can you talk to silence? Can you talk to nothingness? Those are the things which we want to inculcate through art. And that's also, it was difficult for us as an architect, but we, started with the meaning of a different form. So we thought, we want to create a timeless space. So can we stick to something which talks about timelessness of the, things? And then we realized that Enso circle is a representation of no end and no beginning. So now can we make it in a 3D formation? So we actually unlayered it. It's a dynamic sculpture which we have installed. And the second project comes to our mind, so where we tried not to install an art, but can architecture become a sculpture, which is a living sculpture where, so that Blue Lotus Café which we have designed, it is a journey from within, from without. So, from outside to inside. So you start your journey looking at the ruins and other things which is a representation of our glorious past, which we have designed made of, Dhangadra stone ruins. And then you will arrive at a water body and it slowly starts changing your mood, Then there is a center, axis, all this aspect of the way in which we design temple, it is being inculcated there. So stories again inspired from Sri Chakra, Ras Leela of Radha and Krishna. It is in a layer and layer and layer. So that layer can be modified and made into some sort of a sculpture, which becomes a living sculpture, which becomes a space where you can linger, where you can have a coffee, where you can read a book, or when you can be with your loved one and not, spend your time, or where you'll find yourself, or a me time nowadays, which people are saying. So that's what we tried, and it is being done, and it is being handed over to clients. So that is another project. So every time, just summarizing what I'm saying. So art is not necessary for us. It's an integral part of what we do. So you rightly said, so always the budget is always there, whether you design building or interior or landscape or anything. And top of that, because this is the part when we tried insisting, I'm using this was insisting them to have an art piece or a painting or a sculpture or something. They suddenly all the budget has gone into making the space. But then we say, so many stories we, tells them. Like, the Blue Lotus or the other thing. So we show them a before after picture. So, and again, we strictly don't allow any client to enter when we are, making when we are at the final stage of our project. So it is not something which we ask them to on a later stage, but before doing any project, before, before we are awarded to any project, this is this is our rule, so we'll not allow you to enter into your premises in the last month or whenever those 15 days or 1 month. So where we are actually converting the entire space into something else, where we are actually adding soul to the space. So it is not only about, again, if, through stories and through work, they will understand it's not something which is expensive, but I would say it's an investment to change your space into or give your space to a perfect identity, right? So this is how we tried and find out our way in which we insist them to have an art piece or a painting or a sculpture or something like that. Yeah, of course, it has to be contextual. So if we are making a sculpture on a public space like a plaza or something, so we'll try to make it a more engaging, dynamic, where all the age group can be invited and they'll find themselves, like Anis Kapoor's that bubble in Chicago. If you have heard that, the beautiful steel bubble by Anis Kapoor in Chicago, where it is nothing but a reflection of, it's a playful arrangement where people engage with such sculpture. So when it is in commercial spaces or any kind of a spaces, it has to be a contextual. Or while we are doing things for private spaces or a retreat or something like that, then it has to be a resonate, or maybe it has to resonate a person who is going to be occupying it. It should evoke certain quality called a serene, tranquil, or calmness into the spaces, because it's a private space. So it has to be contextual. So first of all, when a couple of residents we have designed, where we have actually called an artist to advise us, so give us an advice on, of course, we'll talk about our theme and other thing where, and the space size, and those are the functional requirements. But authenticity comes first when we are talking about an art. And second, the artist narrative for that particular art. So I have seen people are using Van Gogh and Pablo Picasso and Paul Klee every time, everywhere. But it meant for some spaces, it has a different story. Why can't we have a Raghuraj Patachitra or a Tanjore painting or contextual painting like we have our Srinathji's Pichhoy painting or stuff like that, which is a more contextual thing. So those are the contextual identity we try to retain, local craftsmanship, or how can we boost a local art and craft in our project, considering the theme, of course. And this is how we wanted to pursue, or this is how we engage ourselves with the artist. And couple of example I can also give. So we have called an artist, and he has designed a Song of Sparrow karke ek painting he has designed. So it was something else. We thought, Song of Sparrow, then client was not convinced. Then we made couple of iterations, and then once it is done, it has changed the entire, room. The way it was something else, it was monotone, blend and a gray kind of a canvas. But the one painting, which was something else and which is a unique one, which you have not seen it, but because of that painting, the entire room got, become vibrant. So, this is how we value an art, and this is what we really do while we seek an advice from the artist. So that the factory wala example I already given to you, but another example which where the same premises, we are also doing the restaurant and banquet. So there is a space for the ceremonies, where actual ceremonies are happening. So where we really wanted to do something with the stone, because the entire space is based on the Vrindavan theme. The name of the resort is Vrindavan Resort. So Blue Lotus is a part of a resort. So it's a huge site, and where we are working on this couple of things. So that restaurant requires a certain entrance sculpture and other thing, which we want. It has to be a dynamic sculpture, and it has to be rooted in our Indian culture, the way in which it has to negate the stories of the Vrindavan or Krishna Lila. So we are working on something which I right now I'm not revealing it, but it is on a story of Krishna's, leelas from, from birth to, the 11 years when he was there in a Gokul. So those leelas we are inculcating and putting it in a stone and a cotton steel kind of a work where, it has been portrayed in a different ways. So this is what we are doing. So that's how, again, getting in local craftsmen and artists is a difficult task. But so there, if we can, manage to have a gallery like this where, or an advisor like this, then, it will make our life easy because something is there in our mind, but we don't know how to execute it. So where artist actually comes into the picture or a sculptor maybe comes into the picture and gives a different nuances, right? I remember I can give you example of Charles Correa's Pune's institute where he has invited a British artist, and that, black and white painting which they have done a big two-story, the height of the painting is a two-story or something, or maybe the collaboration of Balkrishna Doshi and M.F. Hussain on our Ahmedabad Gufa, right? So it's I just recollecting that story. It is about Doshi Sahab said, "Okay, I'll make sure that it's going to be difficult for you to draw," and he drew it on that building. M.F. Hussain has drew it on the building. So this is what the collaboration is all about, which gives a different meaning and also challenge each other and take the project at a different level. Of course, so I'll be honest with you. I have not aware about such galleries there before 2 months. When you guys have approached us, then I got to know about Abir Pothi Gallery, and such gallery is there. Where then once we started researching on it, then we realized that, okay, it's not just a exhibition center, it's not just a space where you'll find a beautiful art piece, but it is all beyond that, where you are, giving a chance to a local craftsman, you are, putting their work here and there, and so such awareness needs to be there. We all know, of course, we are not doing great at social media, Misa Architects, but it has a power, and we have seen it. So it has to, that awareness needs to be there, and maybe we can have a collaborations or a workshop or exhibitions where we invite all the design fraternity to be part of it. Such workshops and such exhibitions are already happening in many foreign countries, but those are yet to happen in our city. So while I'm talking to you, those two examples I remember, which is about the connection of art and architecture. So it has to be a multi-sensorial thing, because I forget the artist's name and the space where somebody has designed an Adonil sculpture. We all know that Adonil is it's a vapor. It will be vapor in the air, right? So imagine a sculpture made out of Adonil, and when you enter, it is slowly melting or evaporating in the air. So there will be a time where the entire sculpture is vaporized, right? And then when you are inside the room and you ask where is the art, then you will say, oh, it's you, it's you have breathed, you are breathing it. So it's beyond tangible dimensions. So this is what we also do in architecture, where you can connect yourself and take you to the beyond intangible aspect of the spaces. I'll give an example of our two-bay house, where it's designed on a philosophy of in-betweenness. So which is neither inside nor outside, neither solid nor void, neither light nor, dark, neither public nor private. It's a double height space, and then that is the soul of the space. And there it acts as a fluid space. You can put it in any container likewise. And another example, again, it's from an art exhibition. I forget the artist's name and other thing, but I've seen here somebody has, kept many sculpture in the room. When somebody enters, those are dynamic sculptures, and every sculpture looked at the person, he or she. So it's in a way they are telling, we are not an art, we are not the art installations. You will become an art, and we are looking at you. So those things are yet to be done, in these cities where, it takes you beyond tangible dimension. This is what I think I hope to see soon happen in our city or in our in our project, city to dur ki baat hai, but if we can manage to have it in such beautiful art in our space, is nothing like it.